Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump, the Don, the King of New York, the Playboy of New York, winning and becoming the 47th president of the United States. I'm like taken back. I mean, this dude has got to be the most resilient person I've ever seen. Minus like, an army veteran, a firefighter. I mean, this dude is resilient. Resilient. In this video, we're going to break down my opinion on how he won the election. We're going to break down his campaign, some key highlights, some things and decisions that he made that I think allowed him to win this presidency. But he didn't just win it. Like, he kicked ass. And I don't know anyone who thought he was going to absolutely kick ass like this. Damn impressive. I got four main topics to talk about today. First, hard work. Two, smart work. Then we're going to jump into policy. And then we're going to talk about right time, right place. Okay, let's talk about hard work. I don't know anyone in life who works harder than Trump. I don't even know how the guy does it. How old is he now? Like 70, late 70s? Like, just an example here. He did 4 rallies the day before the election. The last one ended at 2 a.m. And then he was up again at 5 a.m. talking to the press. And then last night, or this morning, he wins the election and he gives an hour speech at 3 a.m. I've just never seen a motor like this. And I love it. Okay, I work hard, so I really respect people that work hard, and he works hard on another level that I've never seen. And I think that's just an awesome trait for anyone to be a hard worker. And the fundamental fabric of the United States of America and the citizens of the United States of America is hard work. That's what built this country, hard work. And I think Trump works as hard as anyone who's probably ever lived. The guy doesn't even sleep. He's just constantly working and grinding. Another thing, resiliency. I'm going to put this under the hard work category. Who's more resilient than Donald Trump? And you got to remember, like, his background too, of like, building things in New York. And I'm sure there's bajillion red tape. I mean, I read The Art of the Deal like in high school, but working with government officials and competing with people there and always fighting through to get your deals done. I mean, there's resiliency. There's calluses on his hands, I'm sure, from fighting his entire life to then moving to the political arena, to getting absolute, spit on and laughed at in 2016 that he was even running, to have half your party in 2016 not even want you to be the president, and you come out and you beat Hillary Clinton, who was literally like penciled in to win. Like, she was automatically going to win. Like, what is Trump even doing with his time? And he goes in and smacks her. And then in 2020, he gets his teeth knocked in by Biden. And then he comes back after getting indicted on like lawsuits left and right and attacked in so many areas. And then 2 people try to kill him. And he comes back and wins the election. He just fight, keep going. It's an American story. It is an American story of a fighter. Love him or hate him, doesn't matter. That dude is a resilient, and that dude works hard. And at the core levels of America, like, those are the principles. If you write down what is an American, hard worker, resilient, boom. That's what an American is, and I think Trump at his core embodies that. Love him or hate him, he does, without a doubt, embody that. Bipartisan, like, he embodies that, and I love that about him, actually. I think that's a great trait. Okay, let's talk about smart work. He was himself more this election than any of the other elections. Back to his background. Dude, he was the Playboy of New York, guys. Driving around limousines, flying in helicopters, building the biggest buildings, having the best penthouses, the look, the style, the hair, the women, the whole 9 yards. Believe it or not, people like that. Americans like that. They like an alpha, and that's what Trump is. He's an alpha, okay? So, and also, on these interviews, right? He goes on stage. He's like, dude, I'm just going to be myself. He does talk in circles. I think it's kind of obnoxious. But he's just himself on stage. He goes on these podcasts. He's just himself. He just became a normal guy to so many Americans. We knew he was really good at the last elections, like, talking to the oil rig workers and talking to the fire department. And like, yeah, he's just a normal guy. But you really got to see this election by his campaign. I think they really showcased that he, allegedly is just a normal guy. And I think that was great. Him being himself, it's the ticket to your life. It's be you, only you up top, right? If you want to be successful in your life and you want to get on your path, best thing you can do is get closer to your soul, closer to your energy, and just be yourself. Okay, I got to do an ad read now for my sports podcast. I have a sports podcast called Beers by the Ivy. Check it out. I also sell all this merch. These are my motivational posters. I sell my Beers by the Ivy hat in multiple colors. Please check that out. But yeah, thanks everyone for the support. Okay, let's keep it going here. Asking for help. This election, he asked for help, and I know he asked for help because you have people like Elon, Rogan, Dana White, Vivek, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly. I mean, you have some people that have some pretty good promise in the media ecosystem, and he's bringing those people in. And if he was more, I can't say egotistical, but if he was more like me or myself or nobody, then he wouldn't have won the election. It was really important to connect with those other people and get them to be on his side. And I think he did a great job. He really brought people together and some key people that a lot of people in America respect. A lot of people respect Elon. A lot of people respect Rogan. A lot of people respect Dana White. A lot of people respect Vivek. And I think that really helped him this election was you weren't just voting for Trump this election. You were voting for a group of people that have made and created things in the United States of America. And people respect people who create things in the United States of America. Okay, so I thought that was absolutely huge. The media tour. Trump went on a media tour to get a younger demographic, okay? He went on Theo Von, he went on the Nelk Boys, he went on Sean Ryan, he went on Rogan, he went on Bussin' with the Boys. And I want to give a shout out. I think the way he was able to do this was Dana White helped him get on all these shows. I wouldn't be surprised if Dana White called these different podcasts and said, hey, put Trump on. And of course, they're going to have a president in the United States, but there's still pressure to have Trump on because the large part of the media is so biased towards him. So I think him going on those shows and connecting with that younger base was absolutely huge. And I think once again, him going on those shows and just talking about not even politics stuff. Dude, when you're talking to Theo Von about Theo Von's past addictions, it's just, I mean, what other president has ever even done that? And it just is like, whoa, maybe he is normal, the curiosity of talking to, Bussin' with the Boys about, college football. It's just really, it was really good. Be yourself once again, be you, only you. I thought he really showcased that in a strong way. Comedy. Trump's a funny guy. He's a comedian. We talk about his, his rallies, and his rallies are absolutely crazy. But just, the McDonald's thing, genius. The garbage truck thing, genius. It's out of the box. It's unique. It pulls people together. It's just genius that he's doing, some of these, call them skits, call them stunts, but I thought those were absolutely genius. And then, of course, the rallies. And the rallies have been going on, but the rallies are just, they bring people together. They bring energy. There's a lot of people that are Trump supporters, as we saw, that maybe aren't the loudest or don't walk around with a MAGA hat, but they get to come to this one place and they kind of feel like, oh, okay, these are like my people. And that produces more and more enthusiasm for Trump. So the rallies are huge. And then lastly, in terms of the smart work, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, in my opinion, is the best candidate, even better than Trump. I mean, the guy, he's smart. He's really good at rhetoric, head on his shoulders, solid family, very normal. It's a Joey Scott media, so I'm going to call it out, but normal energy field. He's not vacant with himself. And that pick, from what I heard, a lot of people in the higher up Republican Party did not want Trump to pick Vance, but Trump picking Vance, I think, really shows that Trump just wants to do the best job for America, and he's not worried about the politics of doing the best job for America. And I think J.D. Vance was a huge highlight for people in all those interviews and talk shows to say, not only do we have Trump, but we also have a guy that we like too. If this guy became president, I think we're well, he seems to be really well put together, a good speaker, good past history. And so I thought that was utterly huge. So I'm excited for both those guys to take the White House. Vance is way better than Mike Pence. Like Vance is a guy that I do see one day becoming president of the United States. So really sharp. I would jump into policy. So it's not just like policy, right? Because we all know like policies are kind of, when you're in the election cycle, are kind of like a little bit nonsense. It's about the policies that you choose to talk about. Okay, Trump chose immigration over the economy. Trump's number one thing with this election cycle was immigration. And I think that was a really smart choice because it's something that his opponent failed so bad on and that they promote their failure on. And so I thought that was great because I think in 2020 he ran on like how good of his economy is. And unfortunately, for some reason, people don't really care about the economy. There's not, there's more emotion with other topics, or there's more rhetoric with other topics. Okay, so him choosing immigration over economy, I thought, I mean, I didn't know if that was right or wrong, but I'm telling you, I think well, we just saw, I think it was the right thing. And then lastly, there's a lot of small things that he was doing, right? The no tax on tips. I think people feel, people are like, oh yeah, that makes sense, especially all these new like keypad things. Like, oh, no tax on tips. Like people, back in the day, used to get cash tips. Now everything's recorded and through the computer, and it's fees, so the waiters aren't making as much and whatnot. So I thought that the small things like that were good. The tariff plans, even opening the door to talk about tariffs, I think was really freaking awesome. The no income tax, maybe that's a little stretch. I would love to see that, but like it's still good rhetoric to start thinking about because it's like, well, Trump's at least an outside the box thinker. None of that stuff's going to come in with the other side. And then lastly, the common sense policy of guy's a guy, girl's a girl. We need to protect our family structure. We can't let families get destroyed. That kind of stuff, I think. Also, it's the anti-wokeness. Also, I think was really big for Trump because I think a lot of people are tired of that woke culture here. And then lastly, right place, right time. Once again, I think America wanted a more conservative view. They wanted a more conservative leadership. The woke mindset in the perceptions that the left had, the Democrats had. I just don't think America wanted. And also, like, he didn't compete against a good candidate. She wasn't even elected. She can barely speak English. She's definitely not a leader. She's not even close to a leader. To not come out when people have stood there for like 6 hours and say thank you for supporting me. I mean, that is an abomination of leadership. That is I'm a god. And that's the biggest problem with the Democrat Party is they think like they can abuse their own followers and voters. And it's disgraceful. I mean, it really is just absolutely disgraceful to not come out and say like thanks for supporting me. So, I mean, yeah, she just was not a good candidate, not a good leader, not a good candidate, doesn't have any good record, no background, wasn't even picked, wasn't voted in by her, her own voters. She was pretty much chosen through a loophole. Terrible interviews, zero ability to comprehend information quickly. Half the time it looked like someone was trying to speak in her ear. And then you had the wild bull, the New York stallion, Donald Trump, all fire, all go. And yeah, so what's the outlook for America? Well, if you don't like Trump, then, what do you do to prepare for hard times? Well, you get out of debt and you don't make any bad financial decisions and you live beyond, you live within your means and that's what you do. You stop and you gotta, in my opinion, you focus on becoming a better person and that's it. Get out of debt, become a better person. Don't get any addictions. Get out of addictions. That's a classic thing you do when you think there's going to be hard times. If you think there's going to be good times, then, of course, that opens the door. Maybe you take on more risk financially, maybe try an investment or two or whatever. All right, I'm rambling, but you get my point. So bottom line is, for me, I'm excited to see what Trump does. He's still got to deliver. Like just getting elected doesn't mean anything. I'm not really excited. I wasn't excited about how he handled COVID at all. So he's definitely gonna have challenges ahead. But I'm excited that someone who put their heart and soul and was so resilient and worked so hard got rewarded. I think that's probably the thing I like the most. And hopefully, you know, he puts great people in there and he does a great job. All right, guys, thanks for checking out this video. We'll talk soon. Please consider subscribing. Check out my store, link below for my hats, my sports podcast, Beers by the Ivy. But I really appreciate the time. Take care. God bless America. Thank you.